I hesitated before writing this, honestly, but something's been bothering me for years. An unsettling feeling that the world's most celebrated profession might also be among its most degrading. To clarify, I'm not criticizing acting as a pure art form. There's undeniable historical greatness in theatre and powerful storytelling. My concern lies with modern acting as shaped by the entertainment industry, twisted into something exploitative and deeply disturbing.
Eerie Aquarium has warned you. Subliminal haunting is our game.
Let me take you through this uneasy journey, the actor's path from innocent beginnings toward profound degradation, and finally, how artificial intelligence compounds the tragedy. This isn't an attack, it's an introspection. Maybe it'll resonate, maybe it won't, but it needs to be said. At first glance, the desire to act seems innocent enough. In part, a curiosity about experiencing someone else's life, stepping temporarily into a different emotional reality. But let's pause here. Why would anyone willingly want to abandon their own identity, even briefly, to embody someone else's emotions and desires? Could there be a subtle discomfort with one's authentic self? This underlying self-rejection, masked as a passion for creativity, plants the first seeds of unease. Proponents argue that acting is harmless escapism or creative expression, but true creativity amplifies identity. It doesn't erase it. To become an actor today often means mastering systematic deception, turning genuine emotional experiences into artificial, consumable performances. Once training begins, things grow darker. Acting classes aren't merely exercises in artistic expression, they're lessons in calculated emotional manipulation. Actors learn how to trigger and portray complex emotions on command, repeatedly and mechanically, emotions they neither genuinely experience nor feel deeply. Gradually, sincerity becomes secondary to marketability. This isn't empathy, it's imitation, emotional mimicry devoid of authenticity. Personal vulnerabilities, fears, and desires become commodities. You might say all art involves vulnerability, that these techniques portray realistic human experiences, and you'd have a point. But real art empowers authenticity. Modern acting, however, commercializes vulnerability, transforming actors from empathetic artists into emotional mannequins, stripped of genuine psychological depth. Auditions are psychological nightmares. They're not merely job interviews, they're emotional auctions. Degrading rituals where actors parade their most private emotional landscapes for strangers coldly evaluating marketability. Intimate emotional and physical traits become objects to market and sell. Each audition is like a psychological strip mall, where authenticity is auctioned off to casting directors, judging not for artistic or cultural value, but purely commercial appeal. Each rejection chips away incrementally at dignity and self-worth. And when actors finally succeed and receive a contract, they believe their efforts have paid off, unaware that the real degradation is only beginning. Once cast, actors become puppets controlled entirely by directors and producers. Each subtle breath, each nuance of posture, every faint muscle twitch is micromanaged, molded meticulously to fit someone else's vision. Actors absorb biting critiques disguised as direction, hollow praises dripping with condescension, and commands masked as suggestions. This dynamic represents control in its rawest form, power without restraint. Unsurprisingly, it has produced some of humanity's most disturbing figures. Producers, casting directors, and revered directors alike have sometimes succumbed to their basest instincts, corrupted by absolute authority over another human's emotional and physical self. After all, when one's soul is reduced, humiliated, and exposed so thoroughly, how darkly alluring must that opposing arrogance feel? Actors aren't asked to portray emotions just once. They're forced to repeat them endlessly until the director is satisfied. Profound sadness, anger, passion, or fear isn't spontaneous, but mechanically reproduced, artificially summoned. Directors require actors to repeatedly re-enter traumatic or deeply emotional states, subjecting them to continuous psychological strain. Even in pornography, exploitation typically stops at the physical. For actors, it penetrates deeper, into their psyche. Directors demand repeated emotional turmoil and vulnerability, framing it romantically as artistic perfectionism. But perfectionism, demanding repeated emotional violation, is no longer artistry, it's exploitation. The humiliation reaches grotesque heights in front of a green screen. Actors must perform emotional breakdowns, passionate embraces, and intense battles in sterile, empty rooms. They cry, laugh, scream, and express love toward nothing, responding to cues from directors who observe them like puppeteers manipulating their marionettes. The actor's dignity evaporates as they perform for invisible worlds, reduced to absurdity by technology that divorces them from reality itself. No genuine interactions, no tangible stimuli, only cold, technological isolation. You might argue green screens expand possibilities, but at what psychological cost? Detached from context, authenticity disintegrates. Acting becomes empty emotional puppetry, forcing artificial states on demand and stripping away human dignity and identity. Perhaps the cruelest irony is reserved for those who succeed. Stardom is portrayed as liberation, but becomes a prison. Celebrities surrender their authentic selves entirely, trapped in perpetual performance, even off stage. Their lives become brands meticulously designed by PR teams and dictated by market expectations, leaving no room for authenticity. Stars must continuously perform artificial versions of themselves for public consumption. A degrading, exhausting cycle, eroding autonomy. Far from liberating, success amplifies expectations, entrapment, and exploitation. Now something even darker emerges. Artificial intelligence. AI mines actors' past performances, harvesting emotional expressions, vocal nuances, and gestures, replicating them endlessly without consent. Actors become obsolete, replaced by digital clones born from their stolen emotional labor. As you can see in this video, AI will soon set impossible standards, forcing actors into further humiliation just to compete, knowing the industry can replicate their emotional essence effortlessly. It's the ultimate violation, identity theft on an existential level. Actors become obsolete vessels of emotion, endlessly duplicated without consent, adding technological exploitation to the list. To be clear, I recognize acting's historical and cultural significance. Classical theatre undeniably shaped society, challenged norms, and enriched humanity. Cultural performances have explored morality meaningfully and provoked thought. The issue isn't acting itself. It's how the entertainment industry hijacked a beautiful art, twisting it into something exploitative and disturbing. Today's actors often surrender genuine experience, becoming commodities serving external markets instead of authentic expression. So what should we do with this uncomfortable truth? Can we confront it honestly, acknowledging how deeply modern acting commodifies human vulnerability? Can we reconsider how we tell stories, whom we idolize, and at what cost? I'm not sure. And if this makes you uncomfortable, fair enough. Write a comment. Eerie out.